Hello, this is Dan Nobles and welcome back to the semi-truck tutorial. In this part of the tutorial, what we're going to do is create the back rims, and in the second part of this tutorial, or this video, we're going to add the side mirrors, which I forgot. So, I've already got a reference picture up here, just to kind of follow along so I can see what I'm doing. I am going to start by going into the side view here, and as you can see, my reference picture as far as the back wheels don't really line up the way it should, so I'm not going to use that. I'm just going to kind of eyeball it with my existing wheels since they are on the same plane here. And so let me go into full screen view here, and let's go ahead and do, I'm going to do a Shift A. Actually, no, I'm not. Let me come in here and go ahead and set my 3D cursor. So I'm just right clicking and just trying to get it hopefully pretty close. I mean, it's not going to be dead on, but okay, that looks close enough for what we're doing. So I'm going to just do a Shift A, create a cylinder, immediately go into T. And while I'm thinking about it, let me turn my screencast keys on so people can see what I'm doing. Alright, and what I'm going to do is make this cylinder 27 vertices. And the reason I'm doing that is there's 9 holes that go around that rim. So my thinking is I want to try to get the geometry of the holes to match the geometry of the rim, if that makes any sense. It'll be more clear in a minute, but I do want the triangle fan type, so we'll leave that there. And I'm going to do an RY to rotate 90, hit enter. And I'm just going to bring this out. We only need the outer face of this, or the faces, so go in here in edit mode and just select all this and X delete faces. Okay, so now I'm going to bring it up here, scale it down, and that's kind of where the rim is going to be. Okay, so I really only need the outer edge right now because I'm going to be extruding off of that. So let's go into edit mode, and I'm just going to go ahead and select all these faces here. Actually, there's an easier way to do that. Let me go into vertex mode, and yeah, select that middle vertex, select that middle vertex and just delete vertices. Okay, so that leaves us, although you can barely see it, this outer edge is what we wanted. So really I could have just created a circle there, probably would have been easier, but anyway. So we got our edge of our outer rim. Now I'm going to go back into our view here so I can use this reference picture and just start creating this rim. So I'm going to extrude, bring it out, and I want to create sort of that lip, so extrude, scale it down just a little bit, extrude, scale it back in. So that right there is going to create, once it's subsurfaced, it's going to create that, you know, that round outer edge lip. Extrude, scale it down just a little bit. Looks like there's a little bump there, so you can extrude that up just a little bit, extrude, scale it down just a little bit, and extrude back in. And in this case it looks like it goes in quite a bit, so then scale it down just a little bit and extrude actually another lip there just before we go further in. So I'm going to extrude back out, maybe scale it down a little bit, extrude, scale it down, extrude, scale it back in, and this one is going, this is the part that goes further in, and then scale that down. Okay, I guess that's pretty close. Go into my number 3 view here so I'm make sure I'm doing this right. Okay, so now I'm at the point that I want to get the area where these holes are going to be at, so I'm going to do an extrude and scale it down. And I'm just going to guess that that area is about that thick. And then there's a lip here, actually, it's a pretty good lip where those are bolted on there, so extrude, scale it up. Actually, looks like I'm probably there's too big of a diameter of a hole there, but I'm not going to worry about it. We'll just say it's a unique tire or a unique rim. So extrude, and I'm going to go down, and this will be kind of that hub part. So extrude, scale that forward, something like that. And then extrude, scale it down some more, and we got another kind of bump there. So extrude forward, extrude, scale it down, and then that final little bump there, extrude it up, scale it down a little bit, and extrude it, scale it down, and then Alt-M to merge those at the center. Okay, so there's our basic rim, and we need to subdivide this, so go ahead and add a modifier, your subdivision surface, and I'm going to give it 2 on the views, and go over to your T menu. We want to smooth it. Oops, need to select it, smooth it. Okay, so that's kind of what it looks like now. As you can see, it's a little bit too smooth, so there's some areas that you can see are pretty sharp, like probably this area right here would be one. This area, of course, and this area. So you just need to do a Control-R, add an edge loop, and just scale it, or move it, yeah, scale it up there. Then at the edge here, yeah, that's going to be a kind of a sharp edge. This is going to be a sharp edge here. So just, you know, giving some definition to these parts here. And I would say here as well. Here as well. And maybe there a little bit, and I'll leave this the way it is. A little bit better. Don't like what's happening there, but that's okay. So there is the basic rim. Now what we need to do is we need to get these holes in there. So if you remember what I did last time, if we go to faces, you can go through and you can select the 9 holes. Like in this case, you might select 2 of them, X delete faces, and you'll get a hole, and then you'll have to work with it and everything to get it round, whatever. I'm going to undo that. I'm going to show you a different way to do this, which may or may not be better depending on what you're doing. But it's just a different way, and it's always nice to learn different things. So I'm going to use the Boolean modifier for trying to do this. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to do a Shift A, create another cylinder. But for this cylinder, I'm going to come over here and I'm just going to choose, let's choose 6 vertices, and let's do the N-gon type. Actually, let's do the nothing. Okay. And just move it over and do a RY90. Go back to our side view here, scale it down, scale it down, scale it down, move it up, scale it down. So this is going to be what's going to make our hole. So right about in there, I would say. Now you would say, okay, that's great, but it's not round. So why aren't you adding the subdivision surface? Well, we're going to use the Boolean modifier to make it a difference of the rim object. So it's going to take on that subdivision surface anyway. So we don't really have to mess with adding the subdivision surface to this. So before we do that, though, we need 9 of these. So go back into our side view and go into your in view, and you will notice that if you look at the scale, it's not 1-to-1 scale. So we need that to be 1-to-1 scale before we do our spin around the rim there. So go into Object and Apply, Scale, and you can see it changed to 1-to-1. So in out of that. Then go into the T menu and tab into edit mode on this. Make sure everything's selected. And you want to do the spin. Okay. And mine's already set at 9, so that's what we want. And you want to use the duplicate. And the angle is about 320 degrees for 9 of them, so that's what your settings need to be. So T out of that, and you'll see we have 9 of them. Now come into select your rim and go in and add modifier and add a Boolean modifier, and we're going to use difference. Okay, and for the object we need to use this object, so we're going to look at this at cylinder dot 005. So go back to this, and on the object set that to cylinder dot 005 or whatever it's called on yours. Okay, so then when you select these and you move them in, it's a little sluggish because you're applying the Boolean modifier to all these towards the rim, and mine just popped back for some reason, but that's okay. I will force it in there. Okay, so they are in there. You can see they have actually holes. So go back and select your rim and choose apply on just the Boolean, not the subsurf, but the Boolean. Okay, so then you can select your cylinders again, pull them back out, and just delete them because they did their purpose. They did what we needed them to do, which is create these holes. Now, something that I didn't want them to do was to cause these to stick out the way that they're sticking out. Actually, it's not bad because there's kind of a little lip on here, so you could use those to make the lip, but I don't want to do that right now, or that way. So I'm just going to just undo a little bit, make sure I have my modifier back. There we go. Okay, so let me just select these, and I need to move them in a little bit better. And really, to be technical, I mean, you can actually go into edit mode on these and just scale along the X if you want to, because they really don't need to be that thick. Really sluggish in moving these. Okay, maybe right there would be good. So go ahead and select the rim, apply the Boolean modifier. There we have our holes. And then select these, take them out, delete them. Okay, that looks better. And you can kind of see from what I did, because I used the 27 triangles around this cylinder, it made it a little bit better as far as connecting these together. I mean, it's not bad really. I've seen a lot worse. So when we look at this, I mean, that's fairly smooth holes. Now, when you do this, you may get, because it's using the subsurf, you may get some pretty ugly looking results. If you do, I'm going to show you how to fix that. Okay, this one, like I say, it looks really good. I'm going to just leave it like it is, but if you do get bad results, what you can do is come in here. I'm going to go into my side view, and I'll just show you how to fix one. And you'll go into your vertices, and I'm just going to use the C tool, and you want to select all the vertices around it like this. Okay, so when you look at it inside, you got all that area selected. Okay, so to fix this, what you can do is do a scale Shift X, because we don't want to scale along the X-axis, and just scale it up a little bit like so, and then do a extrude, select off of it, do a scale Shift X again, scale it down back to pretty much where you were at to begin with, and look at it, and that should help fix the problem if you have a lot of weird things going on. Another thing that you can do, if you're looking at it, you can try to add some edge loops to it. So Control R, put an edge loop. That's actually on the back, so it's not really helping. Let's see if I can get one towards the front so you can see it. Okay, that's pretty close there, I think. So you can see there's kind of a lip there that helps to define it instead of this geometry here. I probably maybe should have scaled up a little bit further than what I did, but anyway, that is how you can fix that problem with the Boolean modifier. So that is that, and then what we need to do is take the some bolts, or I'm sorry, lug nuts, and I'm just going to grab one of these, Shift D duplicate. I do that every single time. Shift D duplicate. Okay, I know I'm not hitting D. Shift D duplicate. All right, and just gonna drag this over here. And we can see we have some kind of lug nuts around there and around here as well. So I'm going to choose P to make this a separate selection so I don't screw up my other lug nuts in case I've got it tied in somehow. And just okay, what am I doing here? Still in edit mode on those. Okay, come in here and just select that, and I'm just going to try to kind of put it in the middle here. Actually, let's off-center it so it looks a little bit better. Okay, and got my 3D cursor here, and I'm going to check the scale. Scale is 1:1, so we're good. And tab into it, make sure it's selected, go to the spin tool, and voila, it's a beautiful thing. Alright, so there's those. I'm going to Shift D that one, bring it up to what would be, I guess right here, but it needs to be scaled down. Put it right about there. Check my scale again since I scaled it down. Oh, I need to make that separate object. Okay. And it's 1-1, which is what we need. And spin, and there we go. Probably what we need to do also, though, of course, is we need to place them in the correct place. So grab these. Let's fix the origin to geometry, something like that. Grab these, origin to geometry, and something like that, and there we have our back rims. And just going to go over to materials and give it the chrome material, and the lug nuts should already have the chrome material, and they do. Alright, so I'm just going to take a render of this to see how it looks. Okay, not bad. As you can see, my chrome color, like I said, looks more like a stainless steel material or whatever. Doesn't quite match the chrome look here, but that's as close as I can get to chrome. But if we look at this, I'm pretty happy with the way the holes turned out, pretty happy with the way the overall rim turned out. As you can see, I went ahead and added a material to the tire. Since this part of the tutorial went a little bit long, the next tutorial I'm going to do the mirrors and maybe a few touch-up things, but probably in section 19 we'll cover some of the texturing. I'm not going to cover the texture in the tire, but I am going to cover texture in probably part of the cab of the truck, just to show you the basic overall texturing process. But all I need to do now is just duplicate these tires across and make two of them on each side, and those will be done. So thanks for watching. Hope to see you in the next part of the tutorial.